What's up, everyone? Kevin Allen here. I'm back. We're breaking down the Patriots taking on the Giants Thursday Night Football. What's up, guys? Really interesting slate tonight because we've got the Patriots, essentially the top defensive team in the league, the number one team in the league, over here taking on the Giants, who are going to be pretty much without any of their skill position players. It's a pretty unusual situation. Sterling Shepard is out. Evan Ingram is out. Saquon Barkley is out. Wayne Gallman is out. Who the hell is playing for the Giants? We'll get that figured out because we have to play players from the Giants. So before getting into this breakdown, though, you have the Patriots as massive favorites in this game. You know, we're not really looking for a whole lot of scoring from the Giants here. There's also a little bit of weather concerns, a little bit of rain, a little bit of wind going on in New England tonight. So that's something to keep in mind. But it's also important to keep in mind that, as bad as the Giants look for this game, they have to do something. You don't really get to play in the National Football League and just get zeros across the board. Somebody's going to catch some passes. Somebody's going to do a little bit of scoring. Something is going to happen. So we need to keep an eye on that and try to figure out what. Now, again, Patriots 17-point favorites. That means that the most popular approach to this game is going to be an onslaught where people use essentially just one Giant player and then all Patriot players. So we'll look at all of that and try to figure out the best possible approach. Now, the important piece of news that just came out is that Rex Burkhead is out. Now, I've looked at the analytics, and when Burkhead is not in the game, when Burkhead is not in the game, what happens is Sony Michel, his role just expands massively. And what I mean by that is last week when Burkhead was out, they were throwing passes to Sony Michel. They really kind of replaced Burkhead with Michel. Michel was out there 50% of the plays. He did more. He did some passing game work. Let's take a look. But where am I? Yeah, he did some passing game work. And he wound up with a really, really nice overall stat line. Now look at this. 3 targets, 3 receptions. Okay, that's not normal for Sony. And yet here it is. So 16 carries. This is the best play on tonight's slate. When a team is favored, and I'm going to give you some sneaky ones, but at running back with Burkhead out, you've got Sony Michel, you've got James White. White plays more of a wide receiver role for this team. So he doesn't really affect Sony Michel all that much. Sony doesn't affect him all that much. He got a couple of carries last week, but most of James White's work is going to be done via the pass. I'm not 100% convinced they're going to need a ton out of Sony Michel out of James White this week. Because, again, if you're favored by 17, that means you should be smashing really, really early. So let's keep that in mind. The other guy to consider in a Patriots onslaught lineup at running back is going to be Bolden. Now, I know it seems crazy. We don't like playing Bolden. But, he's out there a little bit. And, these are showdowns. Weird shit can happen. And if the Patriots are thoroughly dominating, then there's a decent shot. We'll get a couple of spots with Bolden. I'm not saying to load up on this guy, but on Draftkings, on Fanduel, even on Superdraft, if you want to take 1 or 3 or 4% exposure to a guy like this, that's cool. That's fine. So that's the running back position for the Patriots. With no Rex Burkhead, we're going to love, we're going to love Sony Michel in this spot. He's in as good of a spot as he's going to be in all year at home. And so that is going to be probably one of my preferred captain plays this week. Let's jump back over to the notes. It's always tricky to go through it looking at the notes because it's not broken down by player, by team. But going back to the Patriots, we have the wide receiver position. And again, the reason I'm focused on the Patriots is because this is where most of our player pool is going to come from. So we love Sony Michel. We like James White. I like White more on DraftKings than Fanduel. And Brandon Bolden is a super, super deep kind of punt play potential. At wide receiver for the Patriots, it's just 3 guys. You've got Josh Gordon on the outside. He looks great. Again, the Giants really don't do much against the run, against the pass. They're a terrible secondary, so he looks really great. In addition, you've got Julian Edelman, always a threat to catch passes. Now, with a little bit of weather out there, I would probably favor essentially the type of player that Julian Edelman is, where he's going to be crossing and shorter throws up the field. Whereas Gordon's going to be more of a deep pass guy. So, I don't really think weather's going to affect Tom Brady. He's the fucking GOAT of bad weather games. So let's not worry about it. Travis says Giants D in the captain spot. Travis is not somebody who enjoys making money, and that's fine. It's okay. It's okay. Not everybody is in this to make money. Some people like to donate, and that's fine. But as far as where the hell was I? That one set me off. Travis, you messed up my swagger. Okay, so looking at the wide receiver position again. So we've got Edelman, we've got Gordon on the outside. Edelman maybe his role favored a little bit here, especially on DraftKings where you get those PPR points. Got a little bit of Gordon, and then Jacoby Myers on the outside for cheap money. Let's take a look at Jacoby Myers. With Dorsett out, Jacoby, not that cheap, 4,800, but he was a preseason darling. He could be the Pringle of this game. Listen, let's not go crazy with our Jacoby Myers exposure. Figure he'll be about 20% owned on DraftKings this week. So you can go a little over that if you want to have a little more exposure. He's not a guy that I would avoid putting in the captain spot for a small percentage of my plays. I think initially, though, when I'm looking at the captain spot and the Patriots position players, it's Tom Brady, it's Edelman. These wide receivers, if any one of them goes off, it's Gordon. It's going to be a little bit of, very little bit of Myers, and then plenty of Sony Michel and a little bit of James White. So that's the group. And of course, Patriots defense goes almost without saying. So that's the Patriots side of this. It's the Patriots side of it. They're pretty much every player who's a primary player on the Patriots is in play for the captain spot. Sadly, there are no players on the Giants that are usable at the captain spot or at the MVP spot. So let's now switch gears and look at the Giants side of this game. Now, again, they got lots of injuries, so we have to be aware of the injury situation. Most people are going to attack this with an onslaught, meaning we're going to start with a bunch of Patriots players, and then we're going to fill it in with somebody from the Giants. Now, who could that someone be? I don't know. There's a few different possibilities. We'll go over all of them. One of them is this guy right here, Rhett Ellison, who's got a decent, you can go full blast onslaught with every good player and just squeeze Rhett Ellison here at the last position on DraftKings. Another way to go is to look at, well, we'll break down the Giants position players. So, all right, let's get into it. New York Giants offense. Again, the Patriots defense is the top defense in the league, both versus the pass and versus the run. So no one sets up really great. The kicker is the last player I really am interested in from the Giants because A, there's going to be wind, B, they're going to be down huge, and C, hang on one second, everyone. All right, we're back. So, yeah, the Giants. Let's see. Somebody. Travis is warning everybody that if you don't play Giants defense, you're going to be in trouble. So, if you want to listen to Travis, play some Giants defense this week against the best offense in the league. And there was a time when the Jets played against the Patriots, was it, or somebody like that, and they were terrible, but they did return one for a touchdown. And that defense, even in a game where the team was completely dominated, that defense did score well. And so it's not out of the range of possibilities that Giants defense does something. So don't laugh at Travis Andrews too much. It's not out of the realm, even in a smash game. A ball could get tipped, it's rainy, and the rest of the Giants can be so shitty that Giants defense actually isn't that terrible. But all right, let's get into the Giants full blast position players. So the first guy I want to talk about is Daniel Jones. He's going to have the football in his hand every single play. And while I don't think he's likely to, quote unquote, make value with literally no weapons at his fingertips, he's playable. Is he the MVP on Fanduel, Jonathan? Absolutely not. That's ridiculous. But he's certainly somebody who can be used in a lineup in sort of the, at least he'll do something because he's the quarterback of the team mode. Right? You don't want to put him at the MVP because the MVP needs to score the most points of any player in your lineup, and it's super unlikely that that's going to be Daniel Jones, okay, with the Giants only set to score 12 points in this game. It's not that many points, especially with the Patriots set to score about 30. That's a lot more opportunity for players on the Patriots to do some scoring, guys. So let's not get too cute. Let's not get too cute with this stuff. As far as the Giants offense, we've got Darius Slay, Darius Slayton, as the primary wide receiver. He's gotten a couple targets the last few weeks, so, he's been out there. Golden Tate is back. I think Golden Tate probably projects a little bit better in terms of the style of play that he kind of employs, cutting across the middle of the field, maybe catching some dump offs. Problem is if he gets the WR1 treatment from the Patriots, he's going to see Stephon Gilmore in coverage or Devin McCourty. Pretty much, it's really tough to complete passes on this Patriots secondary. They're elite, both of them. So, but if Tate kind of escapes that as the slot player, there's some opportunity for him to break free, and crossing patterns, it's very difficult to defend. So, Tate is the top guy for the Giants this week. Darius Slayton is number 2, and you've got Cody Lattimore bringing up the rear. There's even a fourth guy. What the hell is his name? There's even a fourth stringer. I can't even, Cody Core, I guess. I'm not into that. I'm not into the whole Cody Core thing, but he's 200 on DraftKings, and he'll get snaps at the very least. The running back situation for the Giants is very interesting, and I think it's I think people are confused about it, so it's important to clear it up. John Hilliman is going to start for the Giants. He's actually a halfback. He's an under UDFA. He's a crap player. He's not good, but he's going to be starting for the Giants. He's had rushes in the past, had 2 games where he's got a bunch of touches. He even got some targets last week. Somebody asked which Giants running back will be getting the targets in the passing game. I don't know. I have no idea, but John Hilliman is starting, and he's gotten targeted in the past. The other guy that they have on the roster is Elijah Penny. Now, Penny's a converted fullback. And if you look at the snap counts from the last couple games, even when Gallman came out, it was about 2-1 Hilliman to Penny. Right? So Penny got a couple touches last week. He even got a target, but it was about 2-1. And that's what I expect here. I expect a 2-1 ratio of Hilliman to Penny. Neither one of these guys projects well, but any one can hit for a miracle touchdown, or some crazy shit can happen. So sure, you want to get a little bit of exposure to that, but not too much. Somebody mentioned Jacob Johnson, the fullback for the Patriots. Not my style of play, but again, if you're making 150 lineups and you want to have 1 or 2% exposure to a play like that, that's totally cool. I'm never going to tell you no, because I've watched situations where the third string tight end catches a bomb and breaks the slate open. We've seen fourth string wide receivers do it. You never know. And you're going to need some uniqueness, again, because stylistically, the way everybody's going to try to construct their rosters this week is going to be a Patriots onslaught. You'll get some level of all the players from the Patriots and then some turd from the Giants. Could it be Hilliman? Sure. Could it be, we'll do Patriots defense in there? You can, whatever. Jacoby Myers in there. This is a lineup, right? One player from the Giants, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 player onslaught from the Patriots. Don't forget about Nugent, the Nuge. It's not the best weather for kicking conditions, but the Patriots will kick field goals. And Nugent is from Cincinnati in the past. He could kick in the rain and he can kick in the wind. It's going to be 5-1 onslaughts. I think that's going to be so non-unique that you might want to have a couple of 4-2 onslaughts. I'm trying to think. Oh, the last player on the Giants that I forgot to mention is Rhett Ellison, tight end. Rhett Ellison's not a bad player. He was. We know this Giants team wants to throw to the tight end position. He's gotten targets in the past. This is a guy who had 4 targets in week 4. He gets the target every week, and he's been a fantasy relevant player in seasons past. So Rhett Ellison for 200 is the best value on the slate. Yeah, I'm just trying to see, look through your questions. But yeah, Rhett Ellison is the best value on the slate on the Giants. And this, using him allows you to pretty much do whatever the hell you want. So you can, if I use a Rhett Ellison instead of Hilliman, I don't need to use Jacoby Myers in this lineup. I can go all the way up to whoever the hell I want, Julian Edelman. I can switch pretty much in anybody I want for any spot. I love Patriots defense. I can't imagine not wanting to play them. But if I wanted to go from him to Golden Tate or James White, for example, it works. Everything works with Rhett Ellison in the lineup. These are all good. Crazy onslaught. I'm actually putting that in. I like that lineup. So let me shift over to Fanduel real quick. Similar scenario. The salaries are a little bit different. Let's look at the coach's notes and see where we're at with that. We're on Fanduel single game. So if we look at the notes that Josh put together for Fanduel, he's got Tom Brady, 50 to 60%, James White, 20-25, Sony Michel, 20-25%. I'm on board with that. I don't mind if you want to go a little higher on James White here. That's fine. If you want to find another player, I don't see using Dan Jones even 1 to 5% as an MVP. I want the highest scoring player. You could take a shot with 5%. Listen, it's going to be hard to be unique in your lineups to try to find a way to win this solo. So one way you could try to be unique is, to even on FanDuel, is to put a Julian Edelman in there or a Josh Gordon, somebody who can catch some touchdowns. But for the most part, this grouping is the right grouping for your MVP spot. Kenny Everett asks, Brady or White as captain on FanDuel? FanDuel's MVP, but generally the quarterback will do better. So unless you're trying to be cute in a massive tournament and you want to be different, you'd play Brady there. Yeah, I mean Sony and James White are the other two here. I do think this game sets up much better for Sony Michel than it does for James White. So I mean, keep that in mind. This game really sets up better for Sony Michel. There's going to be some weather issues. The Patriots are favored by 17. That's a pretty big favorite, and no Rex Burkhead specifically favors Sony Michel over James White. I can't stress that enough. Rex Burkhead harms Michelle much more than he harms White. Colin asks, does it ever make sense to have a wide receiver at MVP on FanDuel? Of course it does. Absolutely. It's not the most common thing, but wide receiver on FanDuel at MVP wins about 20% of the time. So it's definitely something that can work and does work, but it only really it requires some pretty unique things to happen for that to work. Quarterback basically only needs to be throwing to that one guy, and he's got to catch more than one touchdown more often than not. So it could happen. Absolutely. And this is one of those games where it totally could. So like I said, you don't want to go 30, 40% on some of them, but you could take a little bit of exposure. Thomas asks, is Golden Tate starting? Yes, Golden Tate is starting. All right, just going through the turds in case you love the turd zone. These are the turds down here at the bottom. Okay. Elijah Penny. He's going to be the number 2. He's going to get 30% of the very, very few running back targets for the Giants. He's going to get about 30% of the running back opportunities. Brandon Bolden, super long shot. If it's a smash game, Burkhead is out. We've seen the Patriots use a little bit of Brandon Bolden. He comes in. He's the perfect turd. He's priced a little high for a turd, but he's the perfect turd. Perfect turd. Ryan Izzo. If you have to choose one of the New England tight ends, it's funny. Izzo's more expensive, but I would go with Matt Lacoste, and I'll just kind of give you my reasoning. But Lacoste is just out there all the time. He's got a much higher snap count than Izzo. They don't throw to him much. 4 targets, 2 targets. But, I mean, at least he's out there all the time. He's healthy again. He missed a couple games. When you talk about Izzo, filled in for a couple games there. But even with that, he's not doing a whole lot. So, sure, he's a turd. They're both turds, but Lacoste is out there a little bit more if I had to favor one. I like the fact that he's cheaper. Not that we need any sort of savings. Ben Sutton's asking, what if you're only doing 1 or 2 lineups? I don't understand why. If you're only making 1 or 2 lineups, enter a smaller tournament and play a smart cash lineup. This is a problem that a lot of people have. If you're making 1 or 2 lineups and you're entering this contest with its 287,000 entrants, just understand that you're throwing away those. What is this, a 5 cent? You're throwing away the 10 cents, guys. If you can't max out this 5-cent contest here, I've got nothing left to tell you. You probably should. And if you can't, you should probably not be a DFS Army subscriber. It's only like $5. It's fun. Now, if you don't have time to mess with the domination station and max out this contest, and you want to just enter a lineup that's your best high floor approach, I like that. So let's get the high floor players into the lineup, and let me show you how it's done. We want Sony Michel. We want this guy, right? These are our high floor players, especially Brady and Michel. We get a little bit of James White. We're going to have to squeeze a turd into this lineup at some point or another. These guys aren't playing. These guys aren't playing. There's nothing going on here, right? This guy's not playing. So who else is up top? Got Julian Edelman, Daniel Jones. We want to play up for a quarterback. Do we want to pay up for the wide receiver and then pay down for a giant player? That's your final decision. That's it. That's decent. Right there. You're done. Just did it. Got to get a guy from the Giants in here. Where's Rhett Ellison? There you go. That's all you need. There's a cash lineup. Maybe I want to go with Daniel Jones in there, thinking, he'll do some damage with his legs. He's got a higher floor. Okay. He does. So now I've got Brady, White, got 9K left per player. I can use the Nuge. He's going to score. Josh Gordon. I love it. Guys, this is gold. This is gold. Put that into your cash games. Let me hide it. I don't want you to see it for too long. It's a golden lineup for cash. But I more so want you to understand why. I've got... What the hell is going on here? Let's understand why. I don't know what the hell just happened there. Of course. Live feeds. Here it is. What's going on here? I've got the highest floor player on the slate, Tom Brady. Why is he the highest floor? He will have the football in his hand every single play that the Patriots run. Worst case scenario is about a 12. He's going to outscore wide receivers. He's going to outscore running backs. I don't care what happens. He's the highest projected player on the slate easily. Now, that doesn't mean that one of these other players won't outscore him. It just means he's the highest projected player on the slate and the highest floor. Sony Michel, I've already said, I love Sony Michel in this spot without Rex Burkhead. He's a running back. He's going to have touches. He has a floor. He'll get 16 touches in a worst case scenario. So 16 touches, Giants defense, he's going to do well. In weather, love it. Again, Hilliman, you can get Jones in there. Now, another way to go is to use Hilliman. He's cheap. If we did that, then I can make a decision here. Do I want to use Daniel Jones? Now, that's 2 Giants. I'm not super excited about that. For Ken, I don't believe in this. Okay, I mean, it's a nice thought, but that's not how Tom Brady, that's not how a Bill Belichick run football team would ever operate. Burkhead is ruled out already, no bones about it. Yes, he is ruled out. How do I turn these off? Okay, so what Patriot wide receiver plays out of the slot? That's Julian Edelman. Julie Fresh says, my man Geek, you are the GOAT. Thank you, my good friend. Thank you. I appreciate the kind words. All right, so that's pretty much it, guys. That shows you, this is your high floor lineup. You can go to Hilliman, you can go to Daniel Jones, or you can punt the Giant player. You can punt the Giant player here and go to someone like Edelman. I don't really want 2 Giants in any sort of a cash lineup. The Giants are about to get smashed tonight. If we go over to Draftkings, actually, let me do Superdraft real quick. There are some interesting potential plays here on Superdraft that I want to point out. The biggest one is, someone like Jacoby Myers at 4.5x. Let's look at our Superdraft projections. I mean, it's right here. Look, John Hilliman. He's got the highest points per dollar times the multiplier of 4.5x. So Hilliman has to be a consideration at the captain spot. It definitely is a flex play. Rhett Ellison is right here. Yeah, he's got the shitty-ass projection, but you have to play 1 Giant. Jacoby Myers is really interesting for me on Superdraft because he's also 4.5 in the cap and the highest multiplier. That's interesting. If he catches a touchdown, he's going to break the slate wide open. John Rios is talking about Max entering tonight. Hell yeah, I like this. I like this slate for Max entering because I feel like it's very likely to be able to win it. And I'm not sure how many ties there are going to be, but you got a great shot at winning it. Darius Slayton for the Giants, 3.75. These are the areas where I want to live a little bit in terms of taking some dice rolls with the captain spot. But the players I expect to do best, Sony Michel, probably Josh Gordon has a lot of good chance to do well here. Of course, Brady, but 1.5 or 1.0, it's tough. I don't even mind in a game like this, though, using a Brady in the flex area for Superdraft. These numbers are important. Daniel Jones, usable, not excited about it. White and Gordon, these numbers are important, guys. I don't want a Rosas. I don't want the kicker on a massive underdog team. It's just not smart. Cody Latimer, I mean, he's a piece of shit on no. But a Jacoby Myers for 4.5? Sure, we can check that out. All right, guys. Next up, I'm going to end this one. We're going to call it a breakdown. And I will be back very shortly. Well, guys, throw out some questions if you have any more real quick. I'll answer them. No Bone says Slayton has huge upside. Yes, he does. But he also has 0 downside taking on one of the best corners in the league, be it Gilmore or Devin McCourty. These guys are elite cornerback. They play elite cornerback play. Furcan, thanks for doing this. You're welcome. All right, next up, guys, I'm going to do a separate domination station setup breakdown. All of the Pats wideouts have great matchups, but Edelman and Myers are better than, I guess, Josh Gordon. But the Giants secondary sucks. There's no one to fear. Thomas, sleepers. I think we already went over that. Jacoby Myers is a sleeper. Rhett Ellison, I guess you'd call him a sleeper. Elijah Penny, maybe a sleeper. I don't know. There aren't too many sleepers because this game's a turd. Brandon Bolden, if you want to take a really deep risk, sleeper. So yeah, like I said, next up, I'm going to do a domination station breakdown where I go through essentially a tutorial of how to set up the domination station. It's going to be longer than this video. I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to set up the dom station to run my 150. Well, let's do Draftkings today because I do a lot of them for Fanduel. And then you guys can ask me questions live and learn how to use the domination station to set up, to attack, and win these tournaments. Do you guys want me to do Fanduel or Draftkings? I mean, Fanduel does have a nickel contest where every single person who's watching this right now can afford to max it without any sort of real worry. DraftKings has a 50-cent contest, the mini max that you can max. So that'll cost you $37 or that'll cost you $75 to max out. Thomas says Fanduel. Guys, let me know. It don't matter to me. Colin says Fanduel. Robert says DraftKings. I might have to do both, man. I don't like saying no. Getting a lot of Fanduels. Craig Berg likes Fanduel. John Rios wants to do the $10 150 max. Don't worry, I'll be in there with you, but I don't assume that everybody can do that. DraftKings, both. All right, it takes a long time to do these videos, but I'll start out with killing me. I'll start out with a DraftKings one. I've done a lot of these for FanDuel, and then if I could jump over to FanDuel, I'll do that. I'll do something like that as well. But we're gonna end this broadcast. I'm gonna start up a new one here in about 5 minutes. I will be tweeting that out and posting that link. I don't know if it's the same link. I'm not quite sure how YouTube live streams work, but we'll give it a shot. Got a lot of votes for DraftKings. And for FanDuel here, really interesting. You know, it's funny. People play on the different sites. Who said? Promo code Geek. That's right, guys. If you're watching this and you're not a DFS Army subscriber, why? Why do you play DFS with your hand tied behind your back? Guys, tell them. I mean, I don't know what more to say. Why do you play DFS with one hand tied behind your back? Like, get in DFS Army, use promo code Geek, get 20% off. It's awesome. No FanDuel in Texas. Man, check again, John. I think they are. I think they are available in Texas, but I thought they started allowing it there. All right, guys, that's it for this one. I will be back momentarily with a domination station tutorial, setting it up for tonight's slate.